Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner for my Quick Tip Thursday. And this is episode number 33. Before we get started, I would like to thank these people who wrote comments to me in my last video. They were lovely comments. This lady here, Karen, she wrote to me in German, and thank goodness for Google Translate, I was able to know what she had written, and it was absolutely lovely. Montana Gal has done 3 dragon journals using Bell's Uniques from her YouTube channel. And I told her, this gal, I said, oh, I'd love to see how you did yours. And then there were a couple of people that were a little bit confused in my last quick tip where I showed how to take like a mega kit, like what we get from Medieval Mirage with, sometimes 50 and 60 pages, and the ability to put them into a file so that you could look at each individual page and know exactly which ones you wanted to print off. Somebody thought you wouldn't be able to see each individual picture or digital, and you can. So if you have questions on that, please get back to me and I'll try to help you with that. Well, you guys, my quick tip for today is sometimes you just got to cut your losses. So, I was doing the Dragon Journal, and I'm going to insert some footage here of me working on it. And the more I worked on it, the more it got to be kind of a hot mess. My first problem was the size of the journal. And I think I told you that the size I was making was something like, what'd I say? That's almost 12 inches, 11 and a half inches by 9 1/4 inches. Well, when I printed off Jaff's kit, now these are just some of the pages. Here they are. They were too small for the journal. It was going to look funny in it. And let me just show you some of these gorgeous images. Aren't these absolutely stunning? I primarily printed off the ones with the dragons because it is going to be a dragon journal. And I left the ones for the ones with unicorns, that will be for another journal. But let me just show you something. Like, this is my absolute favorite page. And say we were going to put it in the journal that I had originally designed, the hardback one. Look at it. Let me bring you out a little bit. So that's the size of the journal. Okay. This is the size of the kit. And it's absolutely stunning. But that was going to be goofy. So this was the first thing I said, it's a no-go. That's not going to work. I've got to make a smaller journal for this beautiful kit. This will be for another journal in the future. Now, The second thing is, the more I worked on the dragon, and I'm going to just bring it over so you guys can see, the uglier it got, I felt. First of all, I had done this stuff in black, these things here. And then I had done the teeth and this. And my son-in-law had come over, and he is a wonderful artist. He's got that just natural talent for art. And I asked him, I said, Mark, what can I do to fix this? He goes, well, for one thing, it looks like an alien instead of a dragon. And I thought, yeah, you're absolutely right. And then he said, why don't you cut out these areas so that it looks more like a dragon? And I had done that. You can kind of see that where I did that. But then it still didn't look right. And it's just too big for the journal I want to make now. Now, here is the journal I'm going to do now. The pages are 9 inches by 6.5 with a 2-inch spine. Well, this is still just too big. So what I'm going to do is take a craft knife and cut this and try to salvage it. Now, I may not be able to do that. It may just be a lost cause. I may have to start all over again. And, only use the eye. And again, it's just like, I don't know, there's just something about it. So let's see if we can salvage this so that it doesn't look so much like an alien. Coming up in the next part of the video is me working on this so you can see what my process was. So here is the image as I was working on it. And as you can see, I have my eggshells down, and they were quite secure. I had put 3 coats of the Elmer's glue over them, so even when I turned it over, they didn't move. And then I also added some more of the parchment paper around the edge. And as I was working on it, I thought, is the eggshells going to show up the way I want them to? So I did a little bit of a test. So as I was adding the purple metallic paint to the eggshells, I noticed that some of the brown showed through and it wasn't as bright as I wanted it to be. So my next step was to add white gesso over the eggshells and then paint them. So what I'm using is just a white acrylic gesso, just a simple brand that I bought at Michael's. And I have this speeded up quite fast so you can see that it does cover the brown part of the eggshell. Now, the reason my eggshells are brown is because I buy pasture-raised eggs. And so I've done the whole image with the white gesso, and then I come in with the purple paint
over the top of it after it dries.
Okay, I think I've got a pretty good idea of what to do. I think I'm going to do darker around the eyes, and then as I come out here, I'm going to go lighter. So, like I said, I think I'm going to go around the edge here, close to the eye with the darker one. Now I'm going to bring in a little bit of the lighter color. Okay, so I ended up finishing painting the eggshells all around and the black here, and I will put some accents. So the next thing I tried to do to help this was I took some of the antique paste, the antique gold color, and I took a little sponge and I went over the top of it. And I do want to show you once again the new book for it. And so this is the spine, and I've added some raised areas there. I haven't glued it down, but as I turn it over, once again, it doesn't look right. So I'm gonna go chopping through this again. I don't like the shape of it. So I do have these Tim Holtz scissors, and I'm just gonna cut this way. And I guess what I'm trying to say with this Quick Tip Thursday is occasionally you just have to say, that didn't work out, and I need to start all over again. And I think that may be what's going to happen here, because this is just not, to me, these look alien-like. They don't look like a dragon. And I'm not the happiest here. But let's bring this back. And yeah, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work. All this hard work. But, you know, that's how you learn. I learned a lot with this process. And I think if I put this here and then added more eggshells, it wouldn't flow as well. So I'm gonna scratch this. This is, I may be able to just use the eye somewhere, but my point is, if a project is not going well, like this, scratch it, start all over again. I can save the but everything else is just paper, some cheap paint. I think it's like $1.50 at Michael's, some parchment paper, and some learning time. So let's just, since I've decided nothing is gonna work except for maybe the eye, let's just cut out the eye. And see if it can be salvaged in any way, shape, or form. It actually kind of looks kind of cool. All right, I kind of like the eye. But then there needs to be more there. Let me wipe this off or put this off to the side. Yeah, the eye's okay. But I don't know if it's going to go on a journal or not. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you learned something from my mistakes. And I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks and bye-bye.